Good evening, my name is Alvin Pelobello and this is your TV World News. On top of our stories, a family of 18-year-old boy with special needs was shot dead by a policeman in Valenzuela City seeks for justice. COVID-19 fatalities in the country crossed the mark of 20,000. Millions of vaccines from COVAX facility is expected to arrive in June, WHO official says. Expert says India is vulnerable to the third wave of infections. Filipino-American Utah Jazz guard Jordan Clarkson comes to the NBA Sixth Man of the Year. The family of Edwin Arnigo, an 18-year-old boy with special needs who shot dead during the raid of the authorities on the illegal cockfighting that happened in Valenzuela City, were seeking justice from the loss of their loved ones. Based on the authorities, Edwin attempted to grab the gun of the policeman and shot during the scuffle, a statement which the victim's family is doubtful. According to them, Edwin could not be able to scuffle with cops since he was afraid of them. The teenager was brought to Valenzuela Medical Center but declared dead on arrival. Valenzuela City Mayor Rex Gatchalian initially said that the incident was not an accident and insisted that his office is investigating the incident. Police Master Sergeant Christopher Salcedo, a police officer who shot Edwin along with 3 other police officers who's involved in the incident, are now in restrictive custody and being disarmed as part of the investigation procedure. All 4 police officers were members of Valenzuela Police Headquarters Intelligence Unit. PNP Chief Police General Guillermo Eleazar has already directed PNP's Internal Affairs Services to conduct thorough investigation of the incident about determining if there were lapses in the operation conducted. Meanwhile, the PWDs, or Persons with Disability Group, condemns a killing of a teenager with special needs. The Commission on Higher Education said that the flexible learning will not end this year. This statement gains criticism from students and progressive groups, as they seen that this prolonged setup will compromise many things for the students. Christian Zamora will give us the details.
Students and progressive groups criticized the statement of Commission on Higher Education Secretary Prospero de Vera regarding the flexible learning implemented this year, which according to him is part of the new normal. According to the Kabataan Party List, this is a serious negligence in education because the group's call for the return of face-to-face classes is allegedly ignored. The National Union of Students of the Philippines said if the gadgets were provided to students, which would be one of the requirements to study online. NUSP also said that the best option for mode of learning is the face-to-face classes. CHED insists that flexible learning will not end this year. But according to CHED Chairman Prospero de Vera, this does not mean that there will be no more face-to-face classes. In fact, there are schools that are allowed to implement limited physical classes.
You can even do online and face-to-face, like what is happening now in medical programs. Yung mga skills-based laboratory, face-to-face yan. We have authorized more than 60 schools to have face-to-face for laboratory classes.
The secretary also said that the raw people who promote the return of physical classes are the people who use in it their political agenda.
Or worse, some refuse to understand it because they have a political agenda to push for. That is what is alarming.
This is Christian Zamora for EuroTV World News.
COVID-19 death toll in the Philippines has crossed the mark 20,000 on Tuesday as the country's health bureau has recorded 36 additional fatalities along with nearly 4,000 new infections. We now had a total of 20,019 deaths. Almost a year and 4 months after the first casualty has been recorded. The Department of Health has also tallied 3,972 new infections, bringing the total number of cases into 1,188,672. New 4,659 recoveries added into a total of 1,120,452 individuals have been recovered after getting infected. This brings the recovery rate into 94.3% of the country's overall tally. Meanwhile, on Monday, almost 987,000 Filipinos has received their second dose of vaccines against COVID-19. This belongs to 4.3 million COVID-19 doses administered by the government, alongside over 3.318 million Filipinos who received the first dose. In line with that, there are around 4 million doses of vaccines against coronavirus disease are expected to arrive in the Philippines from COVAX facility in June. According to WHO World Health Organization representative to the Philippines, Dr. 𝗘𝗨𝗥𝗢𝗧𝗩, these are composed of 2 million doses of Pfizer vaccines and another 2 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccine from COVAX initiatives.
What we know is that we are expecting up to 2 million Pfizer doses to come in before the end of June. It may be as early as within the next 10 days. We don't have specific dates at this point of time. We are not clear whether all 2 million doses will come in one shipment or we are to expect 1 million doses first and the next one later on. And we also expect about 2 million doses of AstraZeneca to come in within the month of June. So that's what we have right now. That is earmarked for the Philippines from the COVAX facility.
The Philippines had received the first batch of Pfizer vaccines on May 10, which are about 193,050 doses from COVAX. It was earlier announced by Philippines vaccine czar Carlito Galvez Jr. that the government has signed a term sheet for the procurement of 40 million doses of Pfizer vaccine. The government is aiming to inoculate 50 million Filipinos by the end of the year to achieve the herd immunity. On the other stories, President Rodrigo Duterte has issued Executive Order 137, accelerating and harmonizing aid and the humanitarian operations of the national government during the disasters and emergencies. The executive order aims to institutionalize the aid and humanitarian operations nationwide, or AHON, convergence program that serves as a platform for the enhanced and unified delivery of social amelioration services. AHON committee is composed of different government agencies such as the Office of Special Assistant to the President, together with the DSWD, Department of Social Welfare and Development, Department of Trade and Industry, Department of Agriculture, Department of Health, Department of Information and Communications Technology, Department of Labor and Employment, and the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office. Duterte emphasized that the government must give an effective, integrated, and fiscally responsible and humanitarian support to the Filipino people in times of emergency and during the disaster as a critical component of recovery and rebuilding efforts. The EO also says that the Philippines is highly vulnerable to the effects of climate change, including sea level rise, increased frequency of extreme weather events, rising temperatures, and heavy rainfalls, which account for significant losses, both tangible and intangible. India's health ministry has tallied the lowest infections of coronavirus disease in nearly 6 weeks within the past 24 hours. This Tuesday, the country has posted 196,427 new COVID-19 cases over the past 24 hours, the lowest compared to the peak of infections tallied on April 14 and less than a half of 414,188 peaks reported on May 7. The COVID-19 related deaths in India now at 307,231 and a total of 26.9 million infections. Meanwhile, the government leaders' big concerns were the shortage of COVID-19 vaccines. Barely 3% of the country's 1.3 billion people have been vaccinated, at the lowest rate among the 10 countries with most COVID-19 cases. According to the experts, a potential third wave of virus in the country is expected due to the ill-equipped healthcare system. China's Huawei Technologies will soon launch its Harmony operating system for smartphones that will be on June 2. The company said this is their biggest move yet, aimed at recovering from the damage done by the US or United States sanctions to their mobile phones business. This will use its operating system that will no longer be reliant on Android. US sanctions banned Google from providing technical support to new Huawei phone models and access to Google mobile services, a bundle of developer services upon which most Android apps are based. However, it was not immediately cleared if they will be launching new smartphones, if there will be updates for existing phones, and how fast the rollout might occur. New Harmony OS will go some way to lighten the impact of the 2019 sanctions that also obstructed Huawei from accessing critical US origin technology. Huawei now ranks number 6 globally with its 4% market share in the first quarter. The company was earlier linked by the previous Trump administration, saying that the Chinese telecommunications giant posed a threat to US national security, a charge that Huawei denied. In our sports news, Utah Jazz guard and former Gilas Pilipinas player and member of Gilas Pilipinas pool, Filipino-American Jordan Clarkson won the 𝗘𝗨𝗥𝗢𝗧𝗪 NBA Sixth Man of the Year award in 2020-2021 NBA season. Clarkson got 407 total votes as he surpasses his Jazz teammates Joe Ingles and New York Knicks guard Derrick Rose. Here's the details from Warren de Guzman.
Half Filipino, half American Utah Jazz guard and former Gilas Pilipinas player Jordan Clarkson won the 𝗘𝗨𝗥𝗢𝗧𝗪 NBA Six-Man Award in the 2020-2021 NBA season. Clarkson is the first player in Jazz franchise history to win the award. Clarkson received 65 first-place votes with a total of 407 total points from hundreds of sports writers and broadcasters around the globe, while his teammate Joe Ingles had 34 first-place votes and 272 total points. Clarkson is averaging a career high of 18.4 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, and almost 3 assists per game in just 26.7 minutes of playing per game, over 68 points during the NBA season. His scoring average of 18.3 points as a player was recorded as the highest in the NBA season. Clarkson also ranked 7th place in the league this season in 3 points with 208 made 3 points. He also scored 40 points against the Philadelphia on February 15 and 41 points against the Golden State Warriors on May 10. Which gives him 2 of the 5 40 points games of the bench in the history of Utah Jazz. Being eligible for the 𝗘𝗨𝗥𝗢𝗧𝗪 NBA Six-Man Award, players have to come off the bench in more games than they started the game. This is Warren de Guzman for EuroTV World News.
More than 4,000 chicken joys has been sold on the opening day of Jollibee in the West End, London on May 20th. These records exceed sales of the company's openings in the other parts of United Kingdom. Excited customers lined up as early as 3 in the morning, about 7 hours before the store opens. Before the end of the year, the Jollibee Foods Corporation is set to open 6 more stores in the UK. JFC is currently operating in 33 countries with over 5,800 stores around the globe. That has been the stories of the night. Just visit our social media accounts for more news stories. Thank you for joining me. I'm Alvin Pelobello and this is EuroTV World News.